Hello, welcome to Talking Pictures, a weekly podcast where we talk about movies, TV, and other pictures we think is worth to talk about. My name's Brian and I'll be your host today. We're joined by my co-host and fellow picture talker, David. David, how are you?
Good, Brian, how are you?
I'm good. What are we here to talk about, David?
We're here to talk about the newest entry in a beloved franchise known as Scream. We're here to talk about Scream 6.
What is the Scream franchise to you?
To me, it's a horror franchise that critiques the horror franchise, the horror tropes of its time, and I think it's done that since the very beginning. I think it very cleverly does it, and it's what it's known for. It's taking what is the horror genre and it kind of turns it on its head, even though it still follows the rules of the horror genre.
And when did you watch them?
I'm a late adopter to these movies. I only actually watched them Halloween just gone, so Halloween 2022. So I caught up on all of the installments, so the original trilogy, the kind of not the reboot, but the kind of 10 years later, and then the
next 10 years later.
So the legacy sequel, as it were. So I caught up on all 5, so to watch this one in the cinema, this was my first experience. What about you? How have you experienced these Scream movies?
Scream to me was a childhood movie. The trilogy were childhood movies, growing up in my house, watching them with my sisters, my brother, older brother. It's like how we would watch them, to certain Disney movies like The Lion King, or perhaps other horror movies like Sleepy Hollow, or I think it was the most attractive serial killer, like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. They're separate, they're in the supernatural vein, whereas Ghostface, to me, I never called it Ghostface, at least not until the franchise has been reinvigorated to the last 10 years, or year, I should say, because to me it was just a Scream franchise. And then I think the idea of who is the killer, and there's all these cast of characters, and you're introduced to the cast, and you're introduced to a few red shirts, and then you're like I said, I'm not gonna get into the rules of the horror movie tropes, because to me I take that as it is. I'm not gonna, let's say, critique on how the Scream movies establish themselves in terms of following the rules, and no, you can't do this, or in that one movie you can't kill me because I'm gay, So I love whodunit. I love the whole reveal of who's the killer at the end, and the why. And to me, that's like the build up, and then that's the release. Okay, now you get the final conflict, the fight, where you get to, all right, now kill them, now fight, now maybe kill a protagonist, and then they come back, and then the killer comes back, and
it's something that always, throughout every single one, is a big part of it, is who is Ghostface. And they do it so well in that they'll make you think, throughout the whole movie, they'll lay suspicions for every character to be Ghostface.
It feels like they did that definitely in the first one, and in the second one, it feels like they pulled that back a little bit, but and especially in the third one. But in the fourth one, sort of similar. It's not until Scream 5 and Scream 6 where they really delve into, like, yeah, we're all friends, but like, any of you could be the killer. And
it normally is someone that we know,
and unless you pull back, unless you survive an ordeal, such as some of our characters have, well then, of course, they're not the killers. But funny enough, when you said that, one of the taglines for Scream 5, and I love this so much, is, it's always someone you know. Like, just think about that for a second. Imagine your friend group, and there's these murders happening within your surrounding area, and just picture it, alright? One of you is the killer, and you're
more than likely it's 2 of you are the killer,
and I like the fact that they play a little bit of meta-ness on that, like, oh yeah, isn't there always 2 of you? And I really do. This is so exciting. Long story short, Scream 6, I loved it. I loved it, and I don't care about the whole fact that just because you get stabbed how many 2 or 3 times and 7 times, and you're still alive, and like, don't care. It doesn't bother me, because this is such a ridiculous concept and trope. But look, if you're okay with aliens speaking English, I'm sure you can sort of bypass the idea that you get stabbed or shot in quite a critical area, that you'll likely die or should be dead, but you're still, walking about. It doesn't bother me, because I'm here to watch a Scream movie. You know what you're going to get. If you set your mindset to that, great. because to me, it's always it's like, there's an element of me watching a Glass Onion or a Knives Out or a Poirot movie. It's just about who did it, who committed the murder. The whole aspect of Clue.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's that whodunit concept is a cherry on top to the fact that this is a slasher franchise in terms of Ghostface being up there. And I think throughout the years, the voice of Ghostface, Roger L. Jackson, I think that just got better and better and better. I just love it. It's almost like Ghostface is a character within themselves up until the reveal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that, but you never question it either. It's like they always use the same voice, but
and the voice is almost as iconic as the actual Ghostface.
Yes, and it's like Ghostface is a character,
mm-hmm.
and I don't care that it's always a different person every movie.
That he's a mantle, that anyone can don, anyone can be Ghostface.
Yeah,
and even that, like throughout the movie, there's that scene with Courtney Cox on the phone, Gail Weathers
in this movie,
in Scream 6. And just so everyone knows here, full spoilers for Scream 6, we're going to actually talk about who Ghostface is and everything that happens and who dies. So we're going to talk about that. So that's your spoiler warning. But there's that scene where Gail is talking to Ghostface, but they talk about it as if that Ghostface has been every other Ghostface. They kind of refer to it as like, oh yeah, no, it's finally time I told my side of the story.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so kind of Ghostface almost like passes on from person to person.
Yeah.
And it's like
a ghost inhabiting a person's soul or something like
even
that.
though it's not at all. It's these individual people, but they treat every Ghostface as if it's the same Ghostface.
Yeah.
Until that reveal, which I kind of like. Unlike Jason and Michael Myers and Freddy, it's not a supernatural creature at all. It's not a supernatural entity. It is a person wearing a Ghostface mask. And most times, 2 people. And in this time, 3 people! 3 people! Big reveal here now. And it's the first time it's done it, is that Ghostface was 3 people this time.
Top it off, it was a family.
It was a family, yeah.
An entire family. So this is the first Scream, or I suppose whodunit type of movie where I could not help myself. Normally I can maintain my thinking and hold my ground in terms of pinpointing who the killer is. But I really couldn't help myself this time. I think I found it too obvious. No, I didn't find it too obvious. I just seen so many whodunits, it just got me thinking, it's like if it wasn't this, it was going to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got to a certain point in the movie, like it came from, all right, well, it's obviously this person because of this reason, but there was like 3 or 4 or 5 people who I was thinking like that. But as it got narrowing down to some people dying, with some main characters on the poster already being killed off at the start, we'll get to that in a minute, with Tony Ravioli and Samara Weaving. Okay, it's the cop. And okay, yeah, it's the sex positive girl, and they got me kind of with the dorky virgin. They got me with him a little bit, because the twin Mindy, the niece of Randy, her like acting and performance, and like how they linger her performance on camera, so it's like, shoo, go away, Ghostface, like almost bullying him. Because
he's most likely to be Ghostface.
Because he didn't survive a previous ordeal and they don't know him and he's not a cop, and you almost feel bad for him. But and I think they did that very well. Mm-hmm. It had me thinking, oh right, this guy's not a Ghostface. I think he'll pull through in the end. But they got me with him.
Even with the fact that when she is stabbed eventually,
yes,
that she says that he's the one to find her and save her, and then she says, I can't believe I got it wrong. She almost tells us that it's not him.
And when you're pulled away from that scene, you're with the rest of the characters. When one of the 2 ghost faces shows up and removes his mask, and oh my god, it's him!
Mm-hmm.
And because you think, well, he's obviously in that part of New York City in the subway, so you think, of course, he's not there, but he is. So it doesn't get you thinking. But what I do mean when I called it with the cop, because his daughter was also there, and when our main characters, Sam and Tara, who are awesomely held and played by Melissa Barrera from In the Heights and Jenna Ortega from TikTok. They start getting calls from Richie's phone number, the previous Ghostface killer. And that's what first had me think. Didn't the sex positive girl say that, since we lost our brother, my dad's a cop and all, and that sort of had me put two and two together. And I thought maybe it's good for foreshadowing, storytelling wise, but I think for me, that's what sort of gave it away. And okay, maybe it's not, because she had that death scene.
Is that the first time? I think it is the first time where one of the ghost faces is a character who we thought was dead. I'm pretty sure. Second time. Who happened? Oh,
Scream 3.
Because Roman.
Because he appeared to have an off-screen death. Convincingly so.
And actually it happened in the first one as well with Billy Loomis. He is killed.
Yes.
It actually, it's I suppose the first, the third, and now the sixth. So
I think it's just been so long since it's been done. They're like redoing it, but for a newer audience, it's going to be difficult. But I think the fact that we saw Ghostface in her bedroom leave to go kill the guy in the shower, her man thing, and then by the time our core 4 survivors get the message from our awesome Danny Neighbor character, showing a picture on their phone of her being attacked. Well, okay, so apparently he already killed him, and he's already killing her without us seeing it in her room. And then after a while, I thought, why didn't it just show her get killed then and there? Because they faked it. She was the second Ghostface killer. For me personally, because I sort of thought it and called it, if they revealed her face first, she put the mask off first, and I knew it was her, because we already know by now, because the father had already shot Kirby from the 4th movie. You think she's dead? Not really. But alright, so we know the father is one of the killers, is behind it all, and his daughter, who we thought presumed dead, is now a killer. Who's the third one? But and it would reveal, it's Ethan, that dorky virgin who we were actually not thinking at all. We thought maybe he'd have a bit of a redemption story, but nope. And I like that. So that was a nice surprise, and the fact that he was a son as well. I thought it was just a father, daughter, and then their brother Richie. But no, they're
it felt like a good. The motivation for why they were ghost faces.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was good because it's revenge for Richie's death.
And even though we've seen something like that before with Billy Loomis's mother, it doesn't bother me that they're sort of retreading it. I'm sorry, if that bothers you, well, go write it yourself. I'm happy to have enjoyed this. I don't want to do this to look, what are they going to do for Scream 7? I'm not thinking that, but it's just, this was such a fast-tracked sequel. It really did reintroduce the franchise to a new generation, while holding on to some of the old. But Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, I love them. Like 2 sisters as the protagonist for this franchise going forward. I love it. I really love it. I'm quite happy that it's them. And I remember thinking in Scream 5, them 2 sisters and Sydney and Gail survive. It's always 4 people who seem to survive at the end of the movie. We're not going to go through that, but if you watched all Scream movies up until Scream 5, it's always 4 people who survive. Well, the twins, Chad and Mindy, who are the niece and nephew of Randy, that was a nice treat. Okay, one of them was going to die. One of the twins is going to die. You sort of kept on going at it and foreshadowing it. And oh my god, no. You didn't want it to be the girl, Mindy, when she got cut in the arm crossing the ladder because, her girlfriend died, which was quite brutal. She should have died straight away with that gush, gutting like a fish. But I'm not going to get into the fact that people are still running around with stab holes in their bodies. But when they kept she got stabbed again in the train station. She was on her own, and that virgin was there to help her. I'm glad he saved her and pulled her away. Okay, she's saved. She's not going to die. And I didn't, even though I didn't think about it, when they got Ghostface to the ground, it was like it's him and the Carpenter sisters, and he's about to smash Ghostface with a piece of glass, and he gets stabbed by a second Ghostface. This is the first time we see 2 Ghostface together in action before a reveal. And he gets stabbed to shit.
One thing actually that you just brought up there was the twins surviving. I actually don't agree with that. I think that one of them should have died. I don't know who, but I think that keeping them both alive,
Mm.
because there's 3 characters in this movie that were almost killed and survived.
Yeah.
And that's Mindy, Chad, and Gail. I think that having 3 of them was too many.
Yeah. But it couldn't have been Gail because she's the only person from the original who is still there, and it was a close call. I thought, when Dewey died in the 5th one, I thought, okay, maybe you knew Dewey was going to die, but not Gail. Not Gail. But yeah, with the twins, as you were saying.
Especially with Chad's scene.
Because he got stabbed like 7 or 8 times.
He was
and
a lot, yeah.
And that was a bit of a touching moment because he was there as their protector all the way through. He was, he's a great guy. Like Cuba Gooding Jr. is a great guy. Yeah, and I thought it was a heartfelt moment. The fact that that moment he tells him to go to run,
and I felt like it was the perfect time as well because they had just shared that kiss.
Yeah,
and it was now time for her to lose him.
Yeah,
the same way that Sydney originally lost Billy, and then her boyfriend in the second one, and then Samantha essentially lost Richie with him being Ghostface. Yeah. But now it's Tara's turn to lose him. So
yeah, I don't think I could have. I don't think I would have wanted to have dealt with the drama of the fact sister losing her brother like that. So that's why it doesn't bother me too much. I'm fine and content with it because I was satisfied with the story build up and the reveal of the Ghostface killers, and very few death scenes.
The kill count
not including the killers themselves.
Yeah, the kill count in total was 5. Which it seems kind of low. Yeah, when you think about it, but that's not including the actual killers themselves. But I suppose if we talk about the last thing to talk about, which we ironically is the first thing, was the opening scene, which kind of turned the Scream franchise on its head a little bit. So
I'd like to start off by saying that, like they had Drew Barrymore in as the first girl kill, they brought in Samara Weaving, who was the director's lead in their previous non-Scream movie, Ready or Not. She's a quite a bit of an A-star level actress.
Yeah, she's kind of working her way up that list because she was in the Babysitter franchise. She led Ready or Not, which actually was I really enjoyed Ready or Not. Yeah. And then she appeared in Babylon recently alongside Margot Robbie. She is kind of becoming a lot more well known, and she's joining that. She joined the First Kill Club along with the likes of Drew Barrymore, and Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually a First Kill girl. So
and almost Jenna Ortega.
Yes, almost. Very almost Jenna Ortega. But I thought I want to know your opinion on it. The opening scene where
Ghostface kills her and
reveals who it is. They take off the mask, and it's
Tony Revoloni,
who was announced for the cast list, and you actually pointed him out and said, I think it's going to be him. This is when we were looking at the posters.
I thought it was going to be him and Samara Weaving pre-watching the movie. And I guess in a way I was right, but not in the way the movie as I would have traditionally thought. When he killed her, when she's dead, and Ghostface is still there, they didn't cut away from the scene. You hear him breathing. He's going to take off his mask.
And I thought that would have been such an interesting way to do the movie. It's turning it on its head of what if we actually knew the entire time who it was? Yeah. But then once again, they subverted the expectations and then they kill him. And he was intending to be a Ghostface. He was intending to be the antagonist and to go after the Carpenter sisters. But then Ghostface kills him and his roommate.
I don't think us as an audience or fans are ready to have a storyline like that, because I think essentially every time his purpose is to always kill the protagonist who we're rooting for. So we're always looking out for him. So if he tries to kill them, we know he's Ghostface, okay, but he survives. But then anytime we're gonna see him, it's all we're gonna think about is him as the killer. We're not gonna think about a potential unknown killer, which essentially was when the true Ghostface kills his boyfriend, they're gay, kills him. What about the movie? And I love this line. This line sort of established this presence of this Ghostface who gives a about movies. And
it's not about the tropes and all this stuff. It's, I'm going to kill these girls. And it's
pure out of different reasons altogether. And I think that's a nice, what are we going to do differently this time? Yeah. And what I also really loved about this is this Ghostface is almost like a veteran of sorts. the reveal of who Ghostface is aside, but a veteran. Ghostface himself is a veteran. This one has always been around. I just like that bit, and it's great that even though this is spinning off into his own franchise, similar to Creed, but they're keeping it very canonical. Talking like the fact that they talked about Scream 4 and Scream 3 and all that, they just keep bringing it back and including it. I just love it so much. You can tell I was very happy watching this movie. I gave it 4 stars. I'm quite content. I'm very delighted with it. And Kirby was great as well. It's good to see her come back. And I hate to say it, but Neve Campbell wasn't there. I didn't miss her.
As Sydney.
Yeah. I was content that she was not there.
Yeah. And they gave it, I suppose, a good line of like, no, she's not getting involved this time. It's over for her.
Yeah.
She's moving on. And I think that was as best they could have done it.
Yeah, guys, if you like to listen to us talking about movies, especially if we love them as much as you do, please keep tuning in every Wednesday on Talking Pictures Pod on Instagram, and follow us on our email, talkingpicturespodcast1@gmail.com. If you've got any questions about the episodic chats we do, send us some questions if you want. We're always going to be here. We want lovers, not haters. David, any final thoughts?
If you could give us 5 stars on your podcast app of choice, we'd really appreciate it.
It's Scream 6. Give us 6 stars.
Give it 6 stars. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Brian.